Hello, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, I was looking at the satellite picture here just about half an hour ago as the sun comes up across North America, and what a beautiful shot of the Canadian Prairie that we have. Again, the sun comes up and illuminates the prairie, beautiful sunny skies. I posted about this on Twitter, tagged one of our CPAs in southeastern Saskatchewan, Taylor. I said, Taylor, can you confirm that it's a beautiful morning across the prairie? She said she indeed can confirm there. Sunny skies across the prairie, mild temperatures. I also want to draw your attention to the very dense smoke that we've got across the west coast from the wildfires that are burning across parts of Washington, Oregon, and California and other places across the western U.S. Again, very thick smoke, and that is going to be making its way east as our ridge begins to kind of flatten out and expand back off to the east. And so this may not, this is going to be more of a problem across the lower 48 of the United States, but as we get towards the end of this loop, you can see the very dense smoke that we've got across the Pacific Northwest and across the Pacific Ocean starting to make its way back to the east, along with the jet stream here starting to move into parts of the Canadian Prairie. So this loop only goes out to Sunday morning, but I would say, especially in Alberta, Sunday maybe seeing some hazy skies from some of the smoke there, maybe reduced air quality. And then elsewhere eastward across the prairie into Saskatchewan and Manitoba, at least southern portions of those provinces, as we get into maybe late Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, looking at some dense smoke from the wildfires out west. Again, the impacts from that would be, of course, not as severe as they are out west, but reduced air quality, maybe some of these sunny skies turning more hazy. You get some exaggerated red colors with the sunrises and the sunsets as well. Temperatures, again, rather mild across the prairie. They've moderated here after the very sharp cool down early in the week. Now I'm going to show you a loop of temperatures. We're going to talk first about those because they are my main story here as we head through the next 7 to 10 days. My message at the end of the week was last week that we would be moderating and warming back up as we transitioned away from that first shot of cold air, but that may have been a warning shot for a pattern that continues to send cool shots of air into the prairie, and that does appear that it's going to be the case for at least the next 1 to 2 weeks. So we're mild right now. We've got a little bit of warmer air making its way into the prairie, but as this little system makes its way from west across the region, we are going to see some cooler air coming in on the backside here as we get into Saturday and Sunday. That's going to chill most areas into early next week. It could be that parts of the southern prairie warm back up around Monday and Tuesday, but what I really want to talk about is what looms back behind that. We're seeing an increased advertisement here of another shot of cool air coming in right around the midweek. So this is highlighting right around September 16th and 17th, right around Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Another shot of cold air making its way out of the north down into the Canadian Prairie. Now again, like the last one, this one looks to be progressive. So it's not a chill that's going to arrive and then stick around for a week or so. We do moderate on the back side of that. But again, this is the pattern that's been, well advertised as we head through the mid and potentially late part of September, is this pattern that kind of fluctuates between a day or two of some mild temperatures, but then another shot of cooler air coming out of the north. So here's what's going on with the jet stream. This is what's driving that. This is the first low that dove out of the prairie into the central United States across the Rockies, bringing all the cold air early in the week. It cut itself off across the Rockies, and it is just now starting to migrate eastward across the Corn Belt of the United States. Now I'm going to hit play on this, and again, I'm going to jump back here, watching this going through the weekend. Here we go. So starting Friday, here's the upper level wave that's moving through right now. That one's going to bring the cold air on the backside, so that'll drop our temperatures back down here as we go through the weekend. And then way up to the north, pivoting around an area of low pressure here across the Arctic, and then another little piece of energy here kind of merging, coming over the top of a ridge here in the Gulf of Alaska. We're going to see this funneling a strong wave down the Rockies through into the Canadian Prairie, and then eastward into eastern Canada. So here it is as we get into now Wednesday night into Thursday. Let me go ahead and just jump back. I'll show you that evolution once again. Watch it pivot out here. We get a little added help from this little wave coming over the top of that ridge, but really it's a wave pivoting around that area of low pressure across the Arctic, then funneling that wave down into the Canadian Prairie as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday of Thursday of next week, and then slinging it around into eastern Canada, dragging a whole bunch of cold air back down into the prairie. So here's the look at the temperatures then, a look at the temperatures, just to kind of put that all together. Again, we're mild today. We see some warmer air pushing across the prairie, but we will see that being kind of cut in half here as we head into the weekend. Again, cooler air moving in as we get into the day on Saturday and Sunday. It'll be a little bit chillier as we get the next week started, although some areas may feel some warmth here Monday afternoon, especially southern Saskatchewan, southern portions of Alberta. Same thing as we get into Tuesday afternoon, maybe getting up close to 20-25 degrees as you get into southern portions of these provinces. But then here comes the cold air as we get into Wednesday, and then now getting into Thursday. Here you can really see the cold front well defined from the Dakotas of the United States coming back up here and attaching to that area of low pressure across the Hudson Bay at this point. We'll take this into Thursday then. You can still see the front slicing across the region. Lots of cold air coming in on the backside. Again, the GFS not quite so gung-ho with diving this down across the central and northern United States, but the GFS was the one that caved to the European last week, or earlier this week with the cold. It feels like it was last week at this point. There's been so much going on with the weather over the last 7 to 10 days. But we saw the GFS kind of cave to that, and we're also seeing the European ensembles starting to highlight this cold as well. I'm showing you the probability of sub-freezing temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius Wednesday morning on the left, Thursday morning on the right. So we're talking 5 to 6 days out into the future here, September 16th and 17th. Where you see the orange shading there, that's where you get better than 50 to 60% chance of sub-freezing temperatures. And again, Wednesday morning, that would be north of Highway 16, maybe Edmonton getting into the higher probabilities there. But then as we get into Thursday morning, we see that colder air funneling a little bit further off to the south down toward the U.S. border. So again, on the table on some of these higher elevations in western Alberta, and then especially across southern and central portions of Saskatchewan, getting into southwestern Manitoba, which was the cold spot with that shot of cold air earlier this week as well. Now, pivoting to precipitation, I'm showing you another probabilistic map. That is just too long a word here for the end of the week. We're looking at the probability of picking up a half an inch of rainfall here, or 12.5 millimeters of precipitation between now and next Thursday, so over the next week. The highest probabilities stick well north of the prairie. We're going to see opportunities for streaks of rainfall across the region as each of these little systems quickly moves from northwest to southeast. These little clipper-like systems bringing just, again, real narrow streaks of relatively light precipitation. So several opportunities for rainfall across the prairie, but it's unlikely to really amount to much here until you get all the way back across central and western portions of Alberta, where we could see some enhanced precipitation from some of the terrain impacts, some upslope flow here as that wave comes out of the north, bringing in the cold air as we get into midweek. So let's look at the precipitation forecast first with the NAM model here, taking a little high resolution look as we go through the weekend. Again, a beautiful Friday across the prairie, mild with plenty of sunshine. The clouds and the rain sticking north of the ag belt today. As we get into the day on Saturday, a little bit more cloud cover across the prairie. Won't be such a beautiful day, and then a chance for maybe some very light rain across Highway 16, kind of along the Highway 16 corridor. Looking at the chance for maybe some very light showers along that frontal boundary as it makes its way through. Same thing on Sunday. Some will see sun, some will see clouds, kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine across the prairie. A very light shower possible across Highway 16 in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but I think most people are going to stay dry during the day on Sunday. Next wave ejects here as we get into Monday. This will bring a better chance for some thicker cloud cover and more scattered showers as we head through the day on Monday. First, early in the day across southern Alberta, getting into central and southern Saskatchewan. And then as we get into Monday afternoon and evening, we'll see that rainfall spreading into central portions of Manitoba. A little bit of a wider look, a little bit longer range with the European model as well. We'll take this through the day Friday again. Beautiful across the prairie. You already know that, and I'm just letting you know it's not going to end anytime soon, before the end of the day at least. It's not going to come to a dramatic end. Let's take it into Saturday. That chance for maybe a light shower, some increased cloud cover along Highway 16 down into the ag belt. Likely a dry Sunday across the ag belt, across the Canadian prairie, and then it is on Monday that next wave ejects, the more well-defined area of low pressure. Still bringing very light precipitation to the area. A lot of people are going to be remaining dry with that one. The best chance for more organized prairie, any organized precipitation across the prairie is going to be here on Tuesday as that little push of cold air comes in. This is when that next wave dives in from the north. Chance in the higher elevations of some snow with this one, enough colder air making its way in, but just another chance for some showers along and ahead of that. as you get out across the ag belt here across the prairie, southern portions of Alberta and Saskatchewan. Again, this is late Tuesday getting into Wednesday, the best chance for some precipitation. All the cold air coming in on the backside, then perhaps enough cold air coming in quick enough to get some of that change over to snow across southern portions of Alberta, getting into southeastern Saskatchewan. We'll talk about that with our Monday morning ag forecast with a focus on the Canadian Prairie, but certainly getting increased confidence here with another shot of some cold air coming in and across the prairie. So we'll have to talk about what the local high impact areas are going to be as we get a little bit closer. Just showing you the accumulated precipitation forecast. You'll see what I mean. These little streaks of very, negligible precipitation between now and our Tuesday-Wednesday wave that brings a little bit more there at the very end across southwestern portions of Alberta. But I'll go ahead and I'll just pause this and take it through the weekend. We'll get to the other side of the weekend here. This is Sunday night. Now we'll take it into Monday. That's when that next little wave makes its way from west to east across the region. So everything between now and Monday, we're talking about 10 millimeters or less, probably 5 millimeters or so where we get some of this rainfall to come. So a lot of folks are going to remain totally dry. Some people get enough to wet the pavement. Perhaps a lucky few get a good drink there, a little bit further north or a little bit further off to the west. And then as we get this next wave to come through on Tuesday into Wednesday, better chance for some more measurable precipitation across southwest portions of Alberta. But of course, that is going to come with some very cold air on the backside. So here's a look at your temperatures then before we just wrap this video up. High temperature around 20 Saturday and Sunday in Calgary. We drop down to 18 Monday and Tuesday, and then down to 16 for the high on Wednesday. Those lows in the single digits. Very similar here in Edmonton. Highs around 14 to 15 degrees with overnight lows right around 5 until we get that cold air that comes in midweek. A low of 1 on Wednesday morning. Saskatoon, here's the roller coaster ride you'll be on here. Again, warming back up on Monday as that wave makes its way in. High temperature of 19. That'll be the warmest over the next 5 days or so, dropping down to 14 for the high on Wednesday with that overnight low. Again, right around 1 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday morning. So we'll have to talk about frost potential once again. Same thing here in Regina. Warming all the way up to a high of 23. So as I mentioned, as you get a little bit closer to the U.S. border, better chance of popping into the low 20s there as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Your overnight lows forecast right around 4 on Wednesday morning, 2 for the low on Thursday. So again, we'll be watching that as we get a little bit closer. And then Winnipeg, you're really riding the roller coaster here over the next few days. 22 for the high tomorrow, 17 on Sunday, back up to 20 on Monday and Tuesday, then dropped back down with that next cold front as we get into midweek. I hope you all have a great Friday. Enjoy the sunshine. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you again on Monday morning.